All right, today we are going on a builder's journey. And by the time we're done, you won't just understand how a web page is made, you will have actually built one yourself, right from scratch. So let's get into it. And no, that's not an exaggeration. This isn't going to be just theory. You are literally about to open up a file and write the code that brings a real working web page to life. You ready? So before we start building, what are we even working with? If a website is a house, what are the bricks? What are the wooden beams? What's the foundation? Well, they're made of this, HTML. It is the absolute skeleton of every single website you've ever visited. Now, it doesn't handle the fancy colors or the cool animations. That stuff comes later. HTML's job is just to give the content its structure and its meaning. It is the blueprint. Okay, so every builder needs a workshop, right? Luckily for us, our digital workshop is totally free and super easy to set up. Let's go grab our tools. You only need two things. First, you need a modern browser, something like Google Chrome, so we can see our creation. And second, you need a code editor. I recommend a Visual Studio Code. Think of it like a word processor, but it's specifically built for writing code. And the best part? Both are completely free. Workshop all set up? Awesome! It is time to pour the foundation and put up the frame of our brand new digital home. Okay, in your code editor, make a brand new file. Now, the name here is really, really important. Call it index.html. Browsers are actually programmed to automatically look for a file with this exact name to serve as the homepage of a website, so it's a huge convention to follow. The very first thing we're going to type are these HTML tags. See how there's an opening one and then a closing one with a slash? Think of these as the giant container. Everything, and I mean everything that makes up our web page is going to live right inside these two tags. Now, a web page is always split into two main sections, so let's add them inside our HTML tags. We need a head section and a body section. So what's the difference between these two? Well, the head is kind of like the brains of the operation. It holds all the information for the browser, data about the page, but it's stuff you don't actually see on the screen. The body, on the other hand, that's where the party's at. It holds all the visible stuff, the text, the images, the whole shebang. Let's add our first piece of info inside the head. This title tag, this doesn't actually show up on the page itself. But when you look at the little tab at the very top of your browser, that's where this text goes. It's the official name of our document. Okay, now for the fun part. Inside the body, let's add an H1 tag. This stands for heading 1, which is meant for the most important heading on the page. And, in the grand tradition of all programming, we're going to make it say, Hello World. And just to round things out, let's add a simple paragraph right underneath our heading. For that, we use the P tag. And just like that, believe it or not, you have written a complete, if simple, web page. The code is written. The foundation is laid. It is time to open our index.html file in the browser and finally see what we've built. And there it is, our heading and our paragraph, displayed loud and clear. And hey, look up at the Browser tab. You can see the title, My First Web Page. This is your code, brought to life. That's a fantastic moment for any builder. But hold on, our house is standing? Sure, but is it up to code? See, in the web world, there are official standards, and we need to make sure our page passes inspection. We can see that it works, but is our HTML technically correct? Is it professional? Let's find out. We're going to use the official tool for this. It's called the W3C Markup Validation Service. Basically, it's like a building inspector for your code. You just go to the site, upload your file, and hit check. It's that easy. Okay, our report is back, and we've got a few warnings and errors. But listen, do not get discouraged. This is a completely normal and honestly an essential part of the process. Every single builder has a punch list of little things to fix before the job is officially done. So the inspector pointed out 3 pretty common things we missed. First, we need something called a docutype to tell the browser this is a modern HTML5 document. Second, we should declare the page's language, in our case, English. And third, we need to specify the character set, so all our symbols in text display correctly everywhere. So let's just head back to our code editor, add these 3 small but crucial pieces of information, save the file, and then submit it for a second inspection. Success! We passed! And this is awesome because it illustrates a really key point. Building is a process of creating, checking, and then refining. Our web page is now not just functional, it's also professionally built to official standards. Just let that sink in for a second. You went from 0 web pages yesterday to 1 today.
You have officially joined the ranks of web builders.
You have now learned the fundamental process of creating and validating a piece of the web. The blueprint is in your hands, so the only real question now is, what are you going to build with it?